Yeah, so they tweet.
Both of them, whenever they drop.
Yeah, they tweeting. I'm like, okay, who are they tweeting? They keep tweeting these other shows. So I'm looking at the shows they tweeting. Like, okay, cool. They listen to that. All right, so I listen to that show, then listen to that show. And so you know what I'm saying? That's how I ended up with it. I started listening and retweeting the shows too, and going to SoundCloud because I had never really used SoundCloud like that. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna pay for a SoundCloud account and a Spreaker account. I pay $10 a month for. I paid $19 a month for my Spreaker account, and I said I can pay $10 for this SoundCloud account. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at some point I had to cut off these costs. It's like, okay, I can't pay for this, and a mobile app, and website hosting, and this and that. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, my wife's like, okay, nigga, when this gonna make some money? You sure got a lot of expenses going here. You know what I mean? So I don't do SoundCloud. I actually have a free SoundCloud account. I just delete the last show and put this one on, you know what I'm saying, after it's done. So I have a very light SoundCloud account.
I do the exact same shit. I do the exact same shit, but the opposite. Like, all my shit is on SoundCloud, but my Spreaker is like the last one gets deleted. So I feel you.
Oh, yeah. Same thing. I got you. Yep, you got the free Spreaker account. We're very limited. What you call it? Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. Same thing. So yeah. It's real interesting. Now because you're a political guy, I'm gonna ask you here. And then you also roll with Q. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Critical Dump here. So you might have opinion too, VJ. How long you give Trump, man? You think he's gonna be out of the office early, or he gonna fulfill the whole term?
At first I thought like 2 years, to be real. I never thought that he would make it the whole time. But I was giving him like 2 years at first. The way everything is looking now, if it happens before October, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, he might not be out of office by October, but the whole impeachment process, that might start by the end of the summer, to be real. Like, they're after him. And it's not just Democrats, it's the Republicans too. His own team is all the way against him. So it's like, I don't know, it's not looking good for him. And more stuff keeps coming out that he did illegally and that people in his camp did illegally. And it's all like proven stuff. Like, you know, it's not looking good for him. And I don't even think the Russia thing is the biggest thing he has to worry about. Like, I think that's some, you know, we'll see what's up with that.
Minor shit.
But he has so many other scandals. And it's like, he could be impeached just off of that. Like, he's already broken the emoluments clause. He broke that day one. You're not allowed to take money from foreign agencies when you're the president. He's been doing it. Every time somebody comes in the country and they stay at a Trump hotel or a Trump resort or Mar-a-Lago or any of that, if they're from a foreign government, guess who's getting that money? Trump. That's illegal. So they can pretty much get him whenever they want to be real. Obstruction of justice, they've already got him on that because he asked Mike Flynn to stop doing it, or because he asked
James
the
Comey
FBI,
to stop the investigation. James Comey, to stop the investigation into Mike Flynn.
Right, thank you. So that's obstruction of justice right there, for you to try to interfere in the investigation. Like, there's just so much stuff already. So it's like, I don't see him lasting the end of the year, to be honest. Like, because there's too many people after him, and there's too many people who are trying to dig up stuff. But he has no one on his side. If you have no one on your side, you can't win.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about him. I think they've been trying to rally. In the beginning, I feel like they kind of knew that they were going to have to try to rally around him the best they could as a party. And they were so gung-ho on having a Republican president that they were just like, fuck it, we're just going to roll with this.
Right.
And I think now they're all just completely fed up. Like, I mean, and I get it. Like, you don't want to vote against party lines. You want to present a united front, right? And it's gotten to the point to where there's so many things that he does that they can't even be bothered to present a united front at this point. Like, they just don't care enough.
And then not only that, but the fact that it's really weird because usually in most elections you wouldn't say that the quote-unquote left-wing party would be the cheaters and the right-wing party were the ones who did everything legit. But that's what happened in this situation. Like, Trump, as far as the primaries, I'm saying, in the primaries, Trump, he won fair and square. You know what I mean? Like, there There was no shenanigans with that. The people wanted something different, and they went for them. On the left wing, the quote-unquote left-wing side, I'm going to keep saying quote-unquote because Democrats aren't really on the left, but that's another conversation. but the quote-unquote left party, the Democrats, they clearly cheated, to try to slant the primaries in Hillary's direction from the beginning, and that was proven. So when our party cheats to get the guy who could actually win and probably would have actually won out of the situation to put somebody who, just because you feel like it's her turn, like that's where we went wrong, obviously. But I mean, they didn't have a choice as far as the right wing. Like, they wanted Trump in there, so the establishment had to roll with the dude. Whereas it worked the exact opposite with us. The grassroots, we wanted Bernie, but the establishment wanted Hillary. So they were like, nah, you're not getting what you want. And this is the result. Because I know a lot of people felt like me. They felt like, well, I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders, so since he's not running, I'm not voting for not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to vote for Hillary because I didn't want to. So, and I know a lot of people felt like that, including me. I voted for Jill Stein. I didn't vote for Hillary, and I don't feel bad.
Right, that's my man Gary G just said. He did third party, too. Said he wanted Bernie, that's why he went third party. Wow. That's deep.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know, and I think it's also, like, about Donald Trump. I was going to say, I think it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people did that thing where they were like, I voted for him, but I didn't expect him to win. Like, they voted for that man. Like, it was kind of like that. I used to watch South Park all the time. It's like that episode of South Park where they had to pick a new mascot, and it was like a douche or like a giant like turd sandwich or something. And they and these were the two things they had to vote from, right? And it's essentially that's what it was. It's like, what would you rather have? And a lot of people were just kind of like, I don't really believe that he's that racist and that he means the shit that's coming out of his mouth. He's just saying it for shock value, so I'm going to vote for him.
Right.
Like, I really genuinely feel like there's a lot of people that either really identified with that whole racist, xenophobic message, and then there was a lot of people that were like, he's the president. If he's the president, there's checks and balances, right? He can't fuck it up that bad. So they were like, go for it. It's cool. It'll be different.
And you know what it is about him? Like, the thing is all he did was just set in plain language with every other Republican has been saying for years. That's all he did. When he said, we need to ban the Mexicans and we need to ban the Muslims, that's the same shit they've been saying for years, but they just said it way more eloquently so it didn't sound as harsh. He just came right out and said it. It's not different. You know what I mean? So for everybody to freak out like, oh my God, Trump's so racist and all this, first of all, I think he was just feeding into his base. I think he was just saying what they wanted to hear. I don't personally think I think he has some bigoted tendencies. Let me back up. I do think he has some bigoted tendencies, but do I think that he thinks white people are just better than black people? Or I don't think that. I don't think he thinks that. We've seen him in public before this too many times.
I think his track record as a businessman or mogul or whatever over the span of X amount of decades would kind of, right, I mean, history would kind of back that up, right? That I don't think it's necessarily he's completely racist, or I think it's one of those things where, I think he knew who his audience was, and he was like, I'm trying to win, so I'm going to say what I need to do, say what I need to say to win. And he tapped into something that they really, really enjoyed, so...
And I think he did that across the board. I think he did that with all of his policies. Because if you think about it, he said everything and nothing. He said, we need to stop bombing everybody overseas and we need to spend that money here on infrastructure, which I agree with. He said that, but then he also said, I want to bomb over there until the sand glows, and I want to bomb the shit out of ISIS. He said those things too. So it's like, okay, well, it can't be both. Which is it? Well, he's been showing us it's the second. He's bombing the shit out of everybody over there. So, but it's like people wanted to just read into what they wanted to read into because he always was on both sides of every issue. You know what I mean? Like he's been saying he was pro-choice, and then he said he was pro-life. And then he said there was a punishment needed to happen for the women. So it's like, okay, you're on both sides of the issue. Which side how do you really feel? I don't think he even thinks about that shit. Like, he gets in the room with his advisors and whoever's around him, and he's like, all right, what do we do? They tell him, and he's like, all right, let's go.
Oh,
I think
man.
that's it. Like, I don't think he really makes any decisions at all.
Very irrational. Yeah.
I think
It
they
doesn't
let
seem
him
that
do
way.
that.
But
Like,
I
you
have
know
to
how
agree
women
with
do
you
that
about
to
the
men a lot of
impeachment.
times? Like
No,
women do
sir.
that to men a lot of times. Like y'all will make us think we thought of an idea when really it was y'all's idea the whole time. But y'all will let us think we thought of it and be like, yeah, baby, that was great. Like, y'all are good at that. That's what they're doing to Donald Trump right now. They're like, oh, Mr. President, that was a great idea that you came up with, when really it was some other dude. You know what I mean? Like, from...
Listen, they got to stroke his
from a
ego and preserve the relationship that he has with America. Whatever, I don't know. So yeah, they're stroking his ego, and I think you're right about the impeachment situation. He fired the director of the FBI, and if people think that cops stick together and aren't going to tell each other, the FBI is a whole other animal. Like, they pride themselves on being a separate entity from whatever the hell else is going on. And he got rid of the director, who was apparently very well liked and very respected. They're gunning for him. They want them. They want his ass. And if the FBI wants you, you really don't stand much of a chance.
Right.
And then you fire the dude who's investigating you? Like, wow. Like
He
this
was
dude
crazy,
is so
and
incompetent.
They want him bad. Like, it's not even like a secret. Like, they are after him.
To be real, I don't think he ever really wanted to be the president. I honestly don't. I think he was running just for the name recognition, because everybody who runs for president always ends up getting a book deal or ends up like doing some kind of speaking tour, or they're always to raise their profile. I think that's all he was trying to do, and it went too far.
More business.
Yeah, and I think he'd be able to put his name on some more stuff, because he doesn't build shit. Like all the Trump Towers and all that shit, he didn't build any of that. Like, he just slaps his name on it and gets the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? That's other people who build it. And that's a whole nother thing, too, because there's a bunch of people he didn't pay and all types of shit. Like, he's a big scam artist. He's a big, like, so that's why I'm saying I don't think he ever really even intended to do with it. I think it just went too far because Hillary was such a bad candidate. It was like people were like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not voting for Hillary, so I guess Trump's it. Like, and he was like, oh shit, like I'm president now. Like, I think that's what happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, he looked surprised. Not gonna lie, he looked surprised.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he ever intended to actually be the president.
Yeah. Now I got another.
This is just like over.
Yeah, I got another topic before we get out of here. Then we got a good 10 minutes or so. All right, this one right here, probably gonna spend a little time on. All right, so this happened to a family member. It was my nephew. This is gonna sound crazy. This was my nephew's brother, but it wouldn't be my nephew because it was him on his father's side. So it was my nephew's brother's, my nephew's half brother, I guess is the better way to say that. So he was in Mississippi,
Okay.
and he's a 19-year-old young man, and he, I guess, came out at some point, said he was gay. His family shamed him so much, like, they tried to beat the gay out of him, punish him, you know what I'm saying, restriction, whatever. I mean, just everything they could do, just pretty much shaming. And at some point, the young man committed suicide. So, as a community, and as a family, I wanted to spend some time on this topic here because, we got people that exist that way, people that are gay, and they exist, you know what I'm saying? So as a family, you find out you got, your son is gay or your brother is gay or whatever. It seems like we have issues more so with a family member that is gay by shaming him or shunning him or ridicule or whatever it is, rather than a sexual predator that's in the family or a molester who is known for touching the kids in the family, and we hide that. We never bring that out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of abuse and stuff is going through, and that person has never been called out in the family. We seem to do that more easier than find out a gay relative. What's your thoughts on that? Sorry to go so heavy at the end, but
I'll go first, I guess.
Sure.
My thoughts I think basically you